Hi guys, this will be the very first video in my new series where I tackle data analysis Python problems and try to prepare for data analysis interviews. Now this website, Stratascratch.com, by the way, shout out to them, they're doing an amazing job. They have a bunch of different interview questions in three difficulties: easy, medium, and hard. And you can choose any company that you like. And as if I understand correctly, these questions were specifically asked in those companies' interviews. So people come back from those interviews and they just write down these questions. If I understand correctly how this works. So I'm planning to make this a series, and we'll be tackling medium to hard difficulty questions. I'll try to be as slow and as elaborate with my methods as possible. And if there will be a demand, we could also try tackling easy questions. So first things first, we go to stratascratch.com. Then we go to coding questions. And then for our first question, we can select Python. And for company, let's start with something everybody recognizes. Let's start with Google. And we'll do this very first Google medium difficulty question. And this is how the whole layout of the question looks like. So on the left side, we have the question description. Then below, we have the data set that we're working with. If there were multiple data sets, they would be listed one after another. This is our web IDE where we can write our code. And if we want to see anything that we've done so far, we just click run code. And if we think that we've done the question, then we just click check solution and it will tell us if we're right or wrong. So let's just begin. The question sounds, find the email activity rank for each user. Email activity rank is defined by the total number of emails sent. So first, let me take a look at this data set, which is called Google Gmail emails. I'll just copy and paste it. And I'll rename it to df, since this is something I'm used to working with. All of my data frames are called dfs, and if I want to have multiple, I'll just add another number, like 2 or 3 to the very end. So we just click run code, and it displays us this data frame that we have here. So we have the ID, we have the email sent from user, email sent to user, and we have day. So let's see if we really need all of these columns for our problem. It says the user with the highest number of emails sent will have a rank of 1 and so on. So we'll have to rank them by sent emails, so from user. Output the user, total emails, and their activity rank. So if I understand correctly, we only need 2 columns here, the ID to identify each user and from user. We don't actually even need ID, I think, because ID is just the name of that row. Yeah, so we pretty much only need from user. But for now, I'll keep the ID. So I'll just adjust my data frame so that it only displays ID and it displays from user. Okay, so now we have from user. As we can see, there's a lot of duplicates, and what we want ideally is to have another column that says how many unique rows each user had. So each row represents an email sent by that user, right? So we create another row, and then we write df.groupby. We'll group by our data frame by the single column, which is from user. So we group by from user. And now if we simply write down count, it will display us a group by object. Actually, yes, it only displays how much each of our users emails were sent, but it doesn't really show the actual user. That's because by default, the group by function treats this from user, this given column, as an index. So we need to specify another parameter, which is as index equals false, so that we keep our column. So now we have each user and the amount of emails that he sent. We could rename this column to be sent, but since there's only two columns, I won't get confused. I know that this stands for the unique user, and this stands for how many were sent. All right, so now let's get back to our question. And the question wants us to rank these users by the amount of emails sent and order records by the total emails in descending order, and we should also sort users with the same number of emails in alphabetical order. All right, so the roadmap is like this. First things first, we have to sort our data frame in descending order so that we have the highest amount of emails sent in at the very top. Then we have to sort by another dimension, which is from user in alphabetical order, meaning that if there's two identical amounts of emails sent, so then the sorting should take place for the from user in alphabetical order. And once we have this sort, then we can create a new column and call it rank, and we'll rank them from first to the very last. So first I have to rename my data frame to be like this so that the group by function actually takes place, because if I don't do that and I try to call my data frame, then we will come back to the very first iteration of our data frame. We only had our ID column and our from user column. That's why we have to specify that our data frame from now on is this group by object. All right, so now let's sort our data frame. I think it's df.sort values. And we have to sort by two dimensions. First, we have to sort by the from use for by the. Wait a second. Let me just go back and see my columns. Yeah. So first, we have to sort by our ID, which might be quite confusing because this ID stands for the number of emails sent. And then we sort by from user. So since we sort by two parameters, we don't just write down ID, we have to make it a list. So we sort by ID and then we sort by from user. But the sorting here, if I run it like this, it won't be correct because as you can see, our ID is sorted from smallest to the highest because by default sort values does it in ascending order. So that's why we have to do ascending equals. Then we specify a list since we'll have more than one value because we have to specify the ascending order for both of our sorting columns. So we go false, comma, true, because first we specify for the ID column, then we specify for the from user column. Let's try running it now. And now as we can see, it works as expected. We have, firstly, we sort by ID. So we have two users with 19 emails sent, and then they are also sorted by alphabetical order. In alphabetical order, first go the numbers, and then go the actual letters. So this works fine. Now for the final part, we also need to include the ranking column. So we want to order records by the total emails in descending order. Sort users with the same number of emails in alphabetical order. In your rankings, return a unique value, i.e. a unique rank, even if multiple users have the same number of emails. For tiebreakers, use alphabetical order of the usernames. So since we've already sorted, then our ranking system will be very simple. It will simply rank from the first row to the very last row. It will simply rank in the order that these rows are already placed in. So our ranking is already done, so we just need to add another column. So we write down df rank is equals to df id dot rank. If I run it like this, I'm not sure what will happen, so I guess we'll see. We just have to call the whole data frame. Okay, so the first thing I see that is also by default ranking in descending order. So in ascending order. So we'll have to change that. So we write ascending equals false, I guess. Yes. And one more thing, since there's two duplicate values of amounts of emails sent, it gives the intermediate rank of 1.5, so it doesn't divide. So for that, there's no shame in it. We go to Google, we write down Python ranks, rank. We go to the documentation, and we see that there's this option called method. And let's see what options method has. And I think the first method first should work here. So we go before ascending, we write down method equals first. Let's see if it works now. Okay, so it seems like it worked just fine. So if I understand correctly, we've done everything that our task asked us to do. So we just click check solution, and it's correct because it gives no errors and it's green. So that's for our very first medium Google question. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like the format, and stick around for more. I guess I'll add it to a playlist so that it's all in the same place. If you have any comments on how I should display or how should I communicate, please let me know. And don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in the next one.